Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome to part 4 of this series that I'm doing on designing a bench and then using CAM software to program the toolpaths and then get ready to cut this out on a CNC router. So this is part 4 in the series, and for your reference, the whole series is basically you basically get to look over my shoulder as I do this whole design process from start to finish, like literally from an idea in my head all the way to generating the G code, which is the program that tells the CNC router to cut out the stuff that we want to cut out. So the last four, and well, including this one, the last three and this one videos are all really in depth. And I think what I realized is that they're maybe a little bit hard to follow and really like the kind of video that the idea in my mind is that it's the sort of video that you watch to see what you don't know, if that makes any sense. Because sometimes we don't know what we don't know, and so we can think about that we know all the steps, and these 4 videos are designed to basically, you get to see exactly what I do every single step all the way through to completion, and that can be illuminating if that's what you want. But the downside is that they're very long and they're a little bit meandering and a little bit circuitous. So what I'm doing right now in this video, in this intro, the whole point of this intro is to say this is the last one of these videos that I'm doing in this format, at least for now. If it turns out to make sense again in the future, I might do one in the future. And what I'm going to do is the video I already recorded, I'm going to end it at the point where I export the G code, but that's not exactly 100% complete, because here's where we get into a little bit of the tricky stuff, and I'm just going to open this video up right now. So this video, once I'm done with this intro, is going to walk you all the way through the last couple steps to export the G code. However, there are a couple things that you should know about that I I intend to cover in future videos. But I want to make you aware of them at the very beginning before I get in. So the very first thing is I'm going to jump over to my main screen here, and I want you to take a look. Here's the layout that we already did in the previous videos. You might notice it's slightly different from the way it was laid out in some of the previous videos. And I'm just going to review what those changes are right now. So so the very first thing is that I do this drill operation in the corners of my, or in a couple of different locations on my plywood. I drill down just a little bit, just so that I can line up the plywood on my machine if I happen to need to realign it later. That gets me pretty close. That gets me within about 10 thousandths of an inch to being exactly perfect. The other thing is I added this operation here, which clears away this material in between these parts. And I'm not covering how to do that in this video. I will have a separate video for how to clear away material in parts. So just the language that I would use for this is these chunks of material in between parts, I know of them, I've heard of them called cookies before. Basically just like little tiny chips, well, chips are the terms for the actual shavings of the plywood or metal. In this case, this is what I would call a cookie, which is like a bigger chunk. And the problem with these bigger chunks is that they can cut loose, and they can fling across the table, they can flick across the shop, they can jam into your machine, they can basically throw it out of alignment and cause a whole bunch of problems. You don't really want them. The reason also that these aren't connected is because these 4 parts I actually moved closer together so that there isn't a long, slender piece of wood in between the parts. So that's another thing that I tried to do to clean up. The other thing is as a result of that, and you can actually see, here's an example of a cookie. So this one, at this point in the program, I have not cleaned up this cookie. Boy, it just went away. I haven't cleaned up this cookie in the middle, and I haven't cleaned up this one right here on the sides. So this program is not ready to go. For me, you could run it. It is at a point where you could export it and you could run it, but you would have these parts that could cause problems, and I don't want to do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover the cutting away of cookies between parts in a separate video. It's probably going to be called something about cutting out multiple parts on a single piece of stock. I'll try to see if I can come up with a more clever name, but you should be able to find it. If it's been a couple months since I posted this, you should be able to find that video. Hopefully it's like the next one I post. Okay, so the other thing is I broke this up into multiple operations, and again, I will cover that in that video. And then the other thing is I just added a small little radius on the end of this part, which was not there in previous videos. Pretty much everything else, these legs, I think I moved a little bit just to have that all fit into place a little bit better. I'm pretty sure I moved these a little bit closer to each other, and again, doing those 4 separate operations for each profile. This, I'm not sure what this one is. I guess, oh yeah, it's interesting. This is probably, yeah, probably the wrong thing. This probably, I'm just gonna jump in really quick here. If it works, if it loads fast enough. Oh, that's not what I wanted to edit. I want to edit. I think I clicked edit tool, and I'm just going to change the geometry from over there to this piece. And then I'm going to click OK, and then it should be good to go. So, so yeah, if we look at that, yeah, that's the last part to cut out. Okay, so I'm going to end this intro and say those things that I just covered are not covered in this video. You have to go find those in another video, another follow-up video that I'm going to post. This is the last video I'm doing in this format of looking over my shoulder, seeing every little foible along the way. You can actually see a little folly or foible right here where I have this little cookie in between these parts. So for whatever reason, the toolpath cut out this side, but not this side. So I'm going to address that kind of stuff in another video. And the reason I'm not going to do it in this video is because this type of video, this type of format, this video is already going to be like 50 minutes long. And I realized that for some of these questions, if you're out there and you're doing machining and you're designing parts and you're cutting them out and you have like a very specific question, when you get to that level, you start to have very specific questions, and you're not really going to find the answer to that in a 50-minute long video. This 4-part series was really designed for like the absolute beginner in mind. I could show this to somebody who's never done this before, and you'd be very confused, but you could probably follow along, and then maybe with the aid of some other videos online, you could figure it out and put everything together. The problem is, of course, and I think the problem with a lot of training is that when you can't look over someone's shoulder, you don't really get all the details, you miss stuff. And so I thought it was really valuable to do that. But again, I think, I mean, to be honest, there's probably just a pretty limited audience to the number of people that want to watch that. So, anyways, I'm about 6 minutes into this intro, so I'm gonna jump over in, and I'm gonna cut the video off right after G-code export. It's gonna probably sound like the video is gonna keep going, but I'm just gonna cut it short at that point. And then any other follow-up stuff is going to be in separate videos that are more focused on that specific problem rather than the sort of looking over the shoulder style. All right, I will stop repeating myself. So without further ado, here you go. So if you don't remember, where we left off before was we did the setup. So we have this this kind of shaded outline. That's the plywood stock that we're going to start with. It's a 4x8 sheet of plywood, and then we did this one 2D contour. So this is the actual cut layout or the cut path. And real quick, we can just jump up here to simulate, and we can click play, and we can see it all cuts out. It cuts out those four legs. So one of the things that I'm going to hopefully cover in this episode is you'll notice that these things are cutting out in kind of a funny way. The legs up here have these really thin bridges. I don't love that, because when we get to these sections up here, it could cause potential for a lot of flexibility, and then that can really be a problem for our router, because if this little bridge gets pulled into the bit, it can you know, grind the bit to a stop. And then you'll also notice down here that when it cuts out these legs, just watch that again, you'll notice it cuts out part of them first, and it doesn't cut out the full thing until it does the very last pass. or it does it in kind of two different sections. So we'll just watch that. There it goes. See, it's like cutting the outline, but it's not cutting the middle, and then it goes and cuts the middle, and then it cuts the whole thing out. The reason it's doing this is because this gap right here is too small, and actually we have an offset before a finishing pass. That what's happening is it's let's see if I can rewind it. Where's my, okay, they're down there. So let's back up a little bit. Let's slow it down just a hair. That's really slow. And let's see if we can skip. All right. So you see it doing here is it's kind of cutting out this little bit, but it's not going all the way through. Let's speed up to here, and then, all right, and then it'll do the last pass, right? So, so you see happening here is that it's pocketing the last little bit, and then it's going and doing the final cut, which means it's cutting through this whole big bridge right here, or a tab, I guess you call that a tab, in one full pass. And it's because it has this offset. What I did is I did this offset, and then it does the finishing pass. And the finishing pass is what gives you a really nice clean cut. So you want to, I mean, that's a technique that's really helpful in machining, but it's kind of messing up a little bit here. The other thing is what I don't like about this, and what I realized even before I got to this point, is when I laid these out so these parts were exactly centered on each other. And I don't actually want to do it that way. I want to move this part probably up to have it be closer to this side. So the gap between these two parts here is like just a hair more than 1/4 of an inch. And then space this off probably just another small amount so that it's not doing this funky little thing. The thing is, we're also getting, because any one of these long slender pieces, you can see it kind of if I change the angle a little bit, any one of these long slender pieces is going to be a problem for us potentially when we're doing machining. The other thing is we're getting what this is called a cookie. It's a little cutout that's completely cut free when the piece is machining, and these will definitely mess up your machining, so we definitely want to avoid these ones. I know from the past that these little tabs, as long as they're attached, are fine, because they're not too long and too slender to cause any issues, but they have to be attached on this end. So what we need to do is we need to move this part a little bit further to the side, and we have plenty of room to do that. So that's not going to be a problem. Anyways, so that's kind of like the preview of what I'm thinking, and if I don't get to it in this episode, I'm definitely going to get to it in the next one. So let's take a moment and just exit this. The other thing is, well, I'm going to address all that stuff kind of on its own. So let's exit the simulation here. Let me just finish up this this particular operation. And if you remember, we did in the last one, it's based off of the selection. Yeah, it's based off of the selection. So we're gonna select each one of these. We'll do these two. I'll click OK. Check out that error in a little bit, and then we can simulate. Okay, all right. Now we can simulate, and then we can watch it go. Let's go a little quicker. And then it goes there. Oh, it's not actually doing it in the order that I specified. Okay, so then we can go back and we go to right-click on this, edit, and oh, there's a feed height issue. Let's look at that one again, and also we'll fix that. And then let's take a look at preserve order. All right, safe distance. The safe distance is higher than the feed height. Consider reducing the safe distance, otherwise the feed height will be raised to match the safe distance. Let's see. Here we go. We go to different heights. Bottom height, top height, feed height, clearance height. Where is safe distance? go back to this and we'll go, the safe distance is higher than the feed height. Where is safe distance? Clearance height, retract height, feed height, top height, bottom height. Oh, it's probably, oh, safe distance. Interesting. I don't know why. I really don't mind this going pretty high, so higher than the feed height. Feed height. Safe distance, 0.5, feed height, 0.5. I don't know. Actually, you know, this is gonna probably create a really high entry and exit, but maybe that's fine. Let's start over here so we can see what it's doing. If we go down here, so these heights are what are these vertical lines here. So let's go back to simulate, and I'll go, except where is it starting? Okay, it's starting there. All right, and I don't know why my computer is so laggy, so let me check for a second. Let me stop for a second and just see what's eating up all the resources. All right, I'm back. I don't exactly know why it was laggy. Maybe the simulation is just a little bit more resource intensive, but let's go over here and watch the tool come down. So yeah, I mean, that looks fine. I don't need it to I don't need to save every little second. Maybe that one's a weird one, right? This little ramp here is the weird one. So I'm gonna exit this real quick and then go back to feed height. Yeah. Go back to here. We'll go safe distance. What is safe distance? Let's hover over this for a second. The minimum distance between the tool and the part's surface during retract moves. Alright, well, we don't have any negative stock, so I'm going to put this back down to 0.2 because I really do want the feed height somewhere around there. So let's see, this should give us a little bit of a, well, it looks like it had almost no difference. That's fine. I'm not really worried. I don't really worry too much about the heights because I cut a lot of flat stock, and I know that it's basically flat all the way across. I want, you know, a good 1/4 inch because it's not perfectly flat. Yeah, so then we did click the preserve order, right? I guess that is why it is now doing it in it's doing these ones first, right? Those ones, and then those ones. It is nice that it's smart enough to cut these both out at the same time, even though it's doing it in a funky way. All right, so yeah, so that all should look pretty good for right now. So then the next part is it's a different operation I want to show you. It's the clearing operation. The reason I want to do clearing here is, and all this stuff, pulls it from the other one, so that's good to go. The reason that I want to show you clearing is because whenever you have a pocket, it's a really good idea to completely clear the center out of the pocket. So here we go. We'll click OK. It's still generating. It's taking a minute. Oh yeah, so this is a funny thing. So this is why I don't love the way that it's set up right from the beginning, because it takes a really long time. Okay, that went very fast. Let's go back to here so we can really see what we're doing. So it's coming down and it's doing this spiral into the stock, which is good. You want it to do that, but it goes really slow for wood, and it's going full depth. And this is just if we go right from the beginning, if we just say, hey, do what your presets are to do. This is how it looks like, and that does this weird sort of, bigger and bigger and bigger sort of weird clearing thing. And I guess there's probably a way for us to change that, because I don't love that method, because you just get all this like overlap. It's good for other stuff. I wonder if I had the pocket before. Well, I think this is what I've done. Anyways, let's go back over to, all this stuff should be good. So we'll go back over to this. So I'll just go down what all these different options are. So tolerance, this is sort of the toolpath tolerance. Optimal load, I believe this is how far over it steps for every cut. Basically the step over. Now 0.1 inches is not really that much. I'd rather have 0.25 with a, actually no, actually 0.12, because that's half the tool, so that's actually pretty good. Minimum cutting radius. This is, yeah, there you go. Oh yeah, in some ways it's a good idea to do clearing before you do a final pass with the contour. So let's see, slot clearing. Oh yeah, so this is a good one where I actually want to do, I think I want to do slot clearing, but we're not doing that. We're doing, and we don't want to do climb, we want to do conventional milling. Multiple depths. We don't want to go down more than 0.25 in this case. Okay, interesting. 0.2. Stock to leave. So we could do, I guess this is a roughing operation. 2D adaptive clearing is a roughing operation. So we are going to follow it up with a contour anyways. Full retract. So this stay down is just to keep the tool down when it moves around. And when it says distance, it's if it's longer than, well, these tooltips are really helpful, so I suggest reading them if you have any questions about what these are. Ramp type helix. I like helix, but we can go like 15 degrees. We don't need to go 2 degrees. All right, click OK. Slot clearing was, oh, because I did 0.2 instead of, all right, so I guess that was why it was 0.3. 125, just do that. All right, let's see if this works. I'll wait for it. Okay. This is taking a surprisingly long amount of time to generate the toolpath. There we go. I'm being quiet because I don't think I want to do it this way. I don't think I want to do it this way. I don't like this. I don't like what's going on here. I don't like all this clearing mumbo jumbo. This is a good and useful tool for other operations, for like bigger pockets, but I think in this particular case I want to use something that's a little, I either want to do it with a contour or I want to do it with a pocket. We can try it. Let's try the pocket to see what that does. Let's just try it quickly to see. Yeah. Yeah. I don't really want this clearing, this fancy clearing thing for these little features. I want a pocket. So I'm just going to delete that. And we'll edit the pocket. Now the pocket, yep, there's the geometry. Have all that stuff is all the same. It's interesting, they call it sideways compensation here, and the other one it was conventional versus climb milling. I kind of don't know why they didn't keep the conventional versus climb milling. I like conventional milling on a wood router better. I feel like I get a better surface finish on the wood with conventional milling. So the nice thing about this is that we can do a finishing pass. So we can do that all in the, in this one feature. Leads on all finishing passes. No, we don't need a lead on all finishing passes. This is kind of nice though. This, yeah, let's try that. I like this repeat finishing pass for these because these are critical to fit. Both ways, no. Maximum step over. I mean, that's wider than our tool, so probably, actually, no, I'm sorry, that isn't wider than our tool, but we probably just want to keep it about half the width of the tool. What is morphed spiral? No, I don't want that. Step over cusps. Oh, that's cool, but we don't have a tool with we don't have like a bullnose tool. All right, stock to leave, radial 0. We want it to just finish. And multiple depths. Yeah, we want that. Maximum roughing step down, no, 0.25. Finishing step down, 1. Finish only at final depth. Okay, rough final. Don't really need that. So let's see how this works. Okay. I don't necessarily want the even step down for 1/4 inch. Okay. I don't know why it's doing this with the safe distance. That's weird. Because I feel like, what was it? It was the feed height. Just make it the same. I don't know why this is getting higher. Oh, and then the other thing that we needed was we needed to have the 15-degree helix. So this should, all right, so step down quarter inch, 0.2 inches, and then 50 thou at the very end for the final pass. So let's see, let's watch this thing go. See if it does what we want. Pretty steep spiral, cuts in. Yeah, this is looking good to me. And then it should do the last one. I don't know why it does that little jog at the end, that's weird. And then it does the final pass. And it does it again. Did we have axial stock to leave? Is that why that's leaving this little tab on the bottom? I thought it was already, I thought I saw it was 0. Let's edit. Stock to leave. Let's just uncheck that. And then let's simulate again. Go a little faster this time though. Weird. I don't know why it has that little bit of material on the bottom there. It shouldn't. I mean, it's clearly basically 0. Okay. Let's see if we can get rid of that last. Oh, we're gonna exit out of this. Let's see if we can get rid of that last little thing with the little plunge again. Finishing, it's probably in the finishing passes or multiple depths. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, maybe lead out. I don't really know why it's doing that. Why it's doing that finishing pass again. One of the things I didn't show you guys yet is doing this preferred lead-in position, and I want it on the side. Because these other sides, the long way is the way that mates to the other features more directly. So we want to do the final pass, or we want to do the lead in and the lead out on the side, just in case there's any little bumps left over. All right, so I'm pretty happy with that. And so we're going to go back to geometry. We're just going to select all of them. What I could do at this point is I could copy this operation. Maybe I'll just do that actually, just to show you. I believe there is a modify. There's got to be a pattern. Or maybe not, but I have seen have seen it. Yeah, I don't see it right now. I feel like in the past I've seen the option to do a pattern with an operation. I don't want to waste a lot of time looking for it, because it doesn't super matter anyways. So yeah, I don't see it. I don't see it right now. But what we can do is we can just edit and what is rest machining? Oh, rest machining. Nice. Stock contours. Interesting. Wrap toolpath. What's that? Oh, cool. So anyways, there's a lot of options in here, and you're gonna have to explore some of them that may or may not be useful. Maybe the patterning is only available if, well, I did pattern these parts, so I don't know. It's easy enough to just do it this way. And actually I prefer to do it this way. But I'm pretty sure I had patterned toolpaths before. Maybe they removed that in this version. Maybe I'm just not seeing it. Maybe, yeah, there's all sorts of possibilities. So we'll just finish up these pockets. And click OK. Doesn't really matter the order that it does them in. I don't particularly care. And then we do. So a lot of times I like to just duplicate this once I have it all set up. Drag it down here to the bottom. And then, although I don't know why, there we go. And then edit, because what we really care about is selecting the new geometry. So let's go 1, 2, 3, 4. And so yeah, so now this should be the full entire thing, right? So if we click setup, and we click simulate. Okay, give me 1 second. I'm just going to pause for 1 second. Okay, so we are good to go with this. If we just click simulate, it should cut out all the parts. There it goes. Cutting out all the parts. And wouldn't it be nice if it went this fast in real life? And you may be wondering, of course, how long does it actually take? What is the real life time that it takes? And we have this machine time 37 minutes. kind of longer than I expected. So let's take a look at the setup sheet. No, nope, we're not going to do that. Let's there was machining time. There we go. $36. I wonder, actually, because I wonder if we did the pocket, if the pocket was slower. I guess we're only doing 200 inches a minute. The other thing I wonder is, on these operations, we did a negative, if I remember correctly, we did a negative stock to leave, or not. Oh, we didn't do a negative stock to leave. So, all right. So, anyways, let's go ahead and save this. We'll export it. Just I'm gonna check my file structure real quick. 1 second. Okay, I just wanted to check just a refresher on some of my export. I don't really care about these warnings, but we can fix them. Linking tab is higher than the specified feed height to maintain that the feed height has been raised. I always get messed up on the heights. I generally don't care about them that much. So I haven't really spent a lot of time working with them. The safe distance is 0.2. The feed height is 0.2. Now the retract height is, it should be. I don't know why. Okay, so then let's make the feed height higher. Maybe it's probably off by like a rounding error in the program. This can be 0.25. This can be 0.3. I just want it to generate without errors. Okay, good. All right, so now for exporting. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna click Setup. Actually, let me check one more thing in my export before I show you guys something potentially wrong. Okay, so so when you go to export, you want to click on the whole setup. You want to export the whole entire setup. If you're doing multiple setups and multiple tool changes, I don't know if you can export all of them all at once, or if you have to export them one at a time. I know that if you click on an operation, it will export only that operation. So you want to export the whole entire setup. So then we go to post-processing. This is where you generate the G-code. The last time I did this, I was told to use UC CNC. This is the CNC program that that the system I'm using runs off of. We had this weird issue where it does not do curves particularly well, and for that reason, we're actually going to use something different. I'm going to use, I believe it's the Mach 3 export. So I had done Mach 3 in the past. The last machine that I used, actually the one that I built, was a Mach 3 based. Let me see. Okay, so maybe, maybe I need to pause again and make sure that I can find Mach 3. So let me look for how we export to Mach 3. All right, I figured it out. The problem is that we're not going by the name of the software, it goes by the name of the publisher. No, we don't want to do that. So, so we go to the Fusion 360 library. You'll notice that this is the publisher name on the side and then the actual program name in the middle. So Mach 3 is made by Artsoft, so we're going to use Mach 3 mil. I don't know, Mach 4 is new. It didn't exist the last time I was doing this. It's been a few years for me. But this is what we're going to use, and I believe that this is compatible with the UC CNC one that we have, and it does a better job of cutting curves specifically. So we're going to select that. So it's interesting that it basically says only local. The reason that it's saying to do this is because once you get something that works with your system, you don't necessarily want an update. You kind of want to keep using the same thing. So we'll just say copy to my post. We're good. Okay. I already selected the folder for my, just putting it on the desktop just to show you guys how this all works, but you can choose whatever folder you want. This is called my bench, and just call it Flatpack Bench. Actually, let me look up my number again. One sec. Okay, so it's actually 0109. It's the wind bench, right? Yeah, so. All right, so, you know, you can change some of these settings. Oh man, I do remember that one of these actually was important to fix at one point. I don't remember. I might run into this problem again someday, but there was something that I had to change in one of these. But I don't remember. Let me look real quick and see if I can remember what it was. Okay, well, I don't remember what it was, and hopefully they fixed it, so let's just click post. Let's open up the code. So this is the actual G code. This is what the machine, what basically is output to your machine to cut. So yeah, this is what it looks like. And this was actually written to be human readable. So if you learn what all the different codes, all the different G codes mean, G90, G20, G28, 91, Z, well, Z0 is just the zero height on the Z axis, G90. T1, M6, M6 is a tool change code, so this is saying tool 1. There shouldn't be another M6 in the entire document. Yeah, okay. The only reason I know that is because I literally just looked it up because I thought that might be the problem, but I don't remember what it was. It might also be a problem with helixes, but we're not going to worry about it right now. Anyways, this is the code. So that's it. That's the full shebang for how you set up, create toolpaths, and then export your G code. All right, everybody, and so that's where I'm gonna cut it short right now. So, like I said at the beginning of this video, that new intro, this video was to get you all the way through to exporting G code, and then some of those little details I'm gonna cover in more detail in separate videos that are more focused on those specific problems. So again, those specific problems with the layout that I just showed you are just the parts being spaced out a little bit and having little slender pieces of wood in between each part. that might, when you're cutting, might move around a little bit and get caught in the bit. And then those little pieces that we call cookies getting cut out in between the parts, and then they're just loose pieces of wood, cookies, that that can kind of float around and then can get jammed in the machine, or throw, like I said, the alignment, or throw the home position off. So those sorts of things are the types of things that I'm going to cover in separate videos. And yeah, so yeah, without dwelling on that too much, if you like this video, go ahead and like and subscribe. You know, that really helps me out, is to throw that little like button down there, or subscribe if you like some of the other videos I make. Most of the videos that I try to do on this channel are going to be more focused on a specific thing and try to do it in a much shorter format. But I thought it would be really nice to do these sort of long form videos, a handful of them anyways, so that really new people to doing CAD design, machining, well, design, programming, and then machining could have a really good broad view, really detailed, yeah, way of just showing you how all the things are done. And honestly, like, this kind of thing takes a long time, right? Like, it takes, basically I have about 4 hours of video on how to design this one little simple bench, and it legitimately takes that much time, right? The design itself took me an hour, and then everything else took 3 hours. So it does also give you some perspective about how much time it takes on the back end. You know, a lot of these YouTube videos, mine own included, are designed and edited in a way to make it look like things go really fast and easy, but there's really a lot of work that goes on. So hopefully this little short video series gives you a good idea of how to do all that. So again, if you like this, like and subscribe. If you really want to see more like this, drop me a comment. You know, I am going to be responsive to what the people want to see. So yeah, all right, thanks. Thanks for watching, and yeah, have a good one.